Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? Stuart here with the Spain news update. We'll take a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press in Spain today, and we'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Before I begin, a huge thanks to all of the people that have supported the channel in recent times, whether it be by buying me a coffee, whether it's through the super thanks option on YouTube, longer term supporters on Patreon, or the channel members of this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for that support. Now, straight into the news. And Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez is on the road again. He's off to South America to meet with some of the leaders of countries in that part of the world. Some leaders, as I said, not all leaders, because obviously there are some leaders in South America that don't share the same political ideology as Pedro Sánchez. As we can read here, Sánchez joins Lula and Boric in Chile to launch Progressive Alliance for Democracy. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez has travelled to Santiago de Chile to join four other progressive Latin American leaders in launching a new political alliance defending democracy and social cohesion, alongside Brazil's Lula da Silva, Chile's Gabriel Boric, the host, Colombia's Gustavo Petro, and Uruguay's Yamandu Orsi. Sánchez aims to counter the global rise of far-right authoritarian and racist ideologies. The leaders argue that democracy is under threat from austerity policies and growing extremism. In a joint article published in El Mercurio, they emphasize democracy as essential for peace, social cohesion and equality, urging greater cooperation in supporting multilateralism and human rights. While Sánchez's visit has clear political symbolism, it also includes an economic component. He is accompanied by Spanish business leaders seeking infrastructure and investment opportunities in Uruguay and Paraguay. Notably, Sánchez will avoid Argentina due to tensions with its right-wing president Javier Milei. So Sánchez currently in South America, as we saw there, to meet with certain leaders of certain countries in that part of the world, but avoiding countries like Argentina, because as we know, the leader of Argentina and Mr. Sánchez do not see eye to eye. So I don't think Argentina will be putting on a state visit for Mr. Sánchez anytime soon. Now, moving on from the progressive side of politics to the regressive side of politics, and the political party Vox is making headlines today. And as we can read here, Vox strengthens support through anti-immigration rhetoric and street protests. Spain's far-right party Vox is capitalizing on public unrest linked to immigration, using incidents like those in Torre Pacheco to promote its anti-immigrant agenda. The party first gained electoral success in Elegido Almeria in 2018, where 30% of the population are foreigners. There, Vox's narrative of deportations and selective immigration won 29.5% of the vote. Party leaders insist their stance is based on principles, not electoral strategy, but admit their message is resonating. Rather than condemning violent protests, Vox deems public demonstrations legitimate and refuses to call for calm. Leaders argue they are giving a voice to Spaniards concerned about demographic challenges and social tensions. From Murcia to Catalonia, the party continues to align itself with public agitation where migrant-related incidents occur. Recent polling suggests this hardline approach is delivering electoral gains, encouraging Vox to persist with its combative rhetoric throughout Spain this summer. So there we go, and Vox, the only political party in Spain that didn't condemn the recent protests in the city of Torre Pacheco in Spain, where radicals took to the streets hunting immigrants. And of course, parts of Spain where there are big immigrant populations is where Vox gets the most votes, as we saw there in places like Elegido Almeria. Moving on, and Spain's main opposition party, don't know for how much longer, but currently Spain's main opposition party, the Partido Popular, and its leader Alberto Núñez Feijóo are also making headlines because Mr. Feijóo is calling for equal standards in corruption cases regardless of political affiliation. Alberto Núñez Feijóo, leader of Spain's Popular Party, the PP, has stressed the need for constant standards when addressing corruption, insisting saying there cannot be two standards, whoever it affects. Speaking about the indictment of former PP Finance Minister Cristóbal Montoro, Feijóo denied any personal responsibility, highlighting his belief that political parties must be stricter when corruption suspicions involve their own members. Defending his decision to appoint Alberto Nadal, an ally of Montoro, as head of the PP's economic policy team, Feijóo stated he has no regrets. He emphasised his clean record over 3 decades in politics, noting he has never appointed anyone involved in corruption scandals. Regarding Nadal, Feijóo argued that he was uninvolved in the actions currently under investigation, as he served in the Ministry of Industry at the time. He reaffirmed that anyone under credible suspicion would not remain in his inner circle. So Mr. Feijóo and his political party, the Partido Popular, involved in yet another alleged political corruption scandal, this time involving a former minister, a person who was in charge of the tax ministry on 2 occasions in previous times in Spain. And just when Mr. Feijóo thought that he had the current government on the ropes because of their involvement in another alleged corruption scandal, this one pops up. So corruption scandals, it seems, never far away from the top line of politics in Spain, and it's a shame. And the final piece of news we'll look at today related to the ongoing wildfires that are devastating some parts of Spain. And as we can read here, Spain battles wildfires as Extremadura hunts for suspected arsonist. Wildfires continue to affect several regions in Spain, though conditions are improving in key areas. In La Torre de Esteban Ambran, Toledo, evacuated residents have returned home, and fires in nearby El Casar de Escalona are under control despite some homes being threatened. Firefighters remain on alert to prevent flare-ups. In Palencia, a serious blaze near Paredes del Monte forced the activation of Level 2 emergency status due to risks to people and property. Strong winds complicated firefighting efforts, but conditions improved overnight thanks to coordinated land and air operations involving 24 units. Investigations into the cause are ongoing. Meanwhile, in Valdecaballeros, Badajoz, 2,400 hectares have burned in a suspected arson attack. Though the flames are extinguished, crews remain on site fearing reignition. Extremadura authorities have appealed for public help in identifying the suspected arsonist behind this and previous fires in the area. So there we go. Many parts of the country, especially in the interior parts of Spain, on fire at the moment. A fire in Toledo, a fire in Palencia, fires in Badajoz, and that particular fire, the work of a suspected arsonist. So let's hope the person that lit that fire and caused so much damage is put behind bars for a very, very long time. Now let's have a look at some comments that have been left on the channel recently by viewers. One here from Kieran Stu. All I wonder with the wildfires is where were the fire breaks? Or did the environmentalists object by saying let nature be wild, thus causing problems as the fire had the fuel with uncleared land? You would think the authorities would have learned from the past wildfires, not just in Spain, but around the world. Yeah, Kieran, thanks for the comment, but to be honest, I have no idea whether the fires that are currently blazing in Spain have anything to do with environmental policies. And it would be irresponsible of me to suggest that they did, given that I have no knowledge on the matter. But I'm sure there are people out there blaming environmental policies because, let's be honest, they always do when wildfires ravage a country, not only in Spain, but also in other countries as well, as we have seen. One here from KR Bulldog, bread in Asturias is as good as in Galicia. Yeah, KR Bulldog, thanks for the comment, and I imagine that is the case, that bread in that part of Spain, Asturias, is as good as the bread in Galicia. Of course, the two areas are neighbouring autonomous communities, and they have a lot of things in common, and bread, no doubt, as you mentioned there, is one of those. One here from B. Connie, you can find good bread in Spain, but it's typically only at higher end restaurants, whereas in Portugal, there's good bread almost everywhere, even at little modest cafes. Yeah, B. Connie, thanks for the comment, and that is true. Here in Portugal, you find very, very good quality bread everywhere you go. It doesn't matter whether you are in the north of the country, the center of the country, the south of the country, the west of the country, or the east of Portugal, you're going to get good bread on the table. But unfortunately, that is not the case in many parts of Spain where bad quality bread is usually the norm, especially in the part of Spain that I live in. But as you mentioned there, if you go to restaurants at the higher end of the quality scale, you do get good bread, but of course you pay for it. But here in Portugal, as I said a minute or so ago, doesn't matter where you go, you're going to get a high quality bread, and that's something that I like. One here from PBO Hearn. Stu, as an American expat living in Lisbon, I super appreciated your opinion that understanding spoken continental Portuguese is extremely difficult. Yeah, PB, thanks for the comment, and this is a topic that popped up in last night's live stream because we were talking about the Galician language, the language that is spoken in the northwest of Spain, and the similarities that that language has with Portuguese. And I mentioned that for many people that understand Castilian Spanish, myself included, understanding the Galician language was not that difficult compared to continental Portuguese, the language that is spoken in this country here. And ask any Spanish speaker out there, and they'll tell you that the language in this country is very, very difficult to understand, especially the spoken language. The written language, not so much because it's very similar, the written language to Castilian Spanish, but when it comes to the spoken language, wowee. And the final comment here from Maite. Stu, please take the AVE to Leon, my birthplace. Very good free tapas with your clara or wine. Barrio Húmedo. Yeah, mate there, thanks for the comment, and I had the pleasure of travelling to that city a few years ago now. I think in 2020 I went to the city of Leon and I did enjoy the food there. I didn't take the fast train, I didn't take the AVE fast train, I drove, but I enjoyed the city of Leon, and thanks for reminding me of the city, and I might make a trip back there soon because, as you said, the food is very, very good, and the size of the tapas that you get with your drink in the neighborhood that you mentioned there, the Barrio Húmedo, are very, very, very good. So I might get back there soon. On that note, I'm going to wrap the video up. Questions and comments, please leave them in the section below. If you have anything to add to the conversation today, please, the comment section is the place for you. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't. If you are not a subscriber of the channel already, hit the subscribe button, please, and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video when I publish it. Until the next one, hasta luego.